Hello? Your Health is Calling, where holistic health meets practical solutions for your well-being. With your host, speaker, New York Times bestselling author, Sue Kostick, a seasoned holistic health practitioner and longevity coach. Join Sue each week to embark on a journey to uncover the root causes of your health concerns. Through a personalized approach, learn how to decode the messages your body is sending and craft natural protocols to address them. Call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A.
Well, good morning. This is not Sue Kostick, as you may see, but I am Pamela Chanel David. I am the author of the Reinvented Life book, the host of the Reinvented Life show, the founder of the Reinvented Life Network, and today I'm not coming to you as any of that. Today I am coming to you to share my personal journey and to make everyone aware that's listening or watching to this show about answering the call when hello, your health calls. So I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you, everyone. I know there's a great group of people listening here this morning. And I think this message of answering the call when your health calls is incredibly important. And I'm going to share my own health journey with you in regards to that, in the hopes that it will really resonate with people and that it will really ring that bell when your health calls. So I'll just give you a little bit of a background over the last 10 years, over the last decade. Um, I have gone through a complete reinvention with my health. And that is from my physical health standpoint. So 10 years ago, I was given not a year to live by my doctor. I was morbidly obese. I've subsequently gone on a journey of really what I thought was fixing, and I think we do that often, my health. I certainly have made vast improvements. I have lost 170 pounds, which I know is incredible when I think about it, that a lot of people are thrilled when we can lose 20, right? So I've been through a huge journey of weight loss. I've embarked on eating in a more sensible way. I engaged in fitness into my life at 55 years old. I ran a half marathon for the first time, and I was not active in my entire adult life until a year or two before that. So I'm bringing all that up to say that you can make the shifts in your life. But when we don't answer the calls and we think everything is okay, you can run into some pretty horrific roadblocks. And so we'll share that part of my story with you. But here I was, having made these vast changes. I felt good. I was embracing my life. I was at the gym, no less than three, but 3 to 4, sometimes 5 consistent times over several years to the gym. I was paying attention to my health. I was feeling good. I did a 5K randomly. I would just pick things up because I could and because I was so excited about embracing things that I never had been able to do in my life before. However, how many times do things happen when we ignore signs? Even though I was feeling so good, that my body was giving. And how many times do we just equate things with, oh, we're getting older or oh, we're aging? So when I started getting, even though I was feeling good, tired more often, I kind of just chalked that up for, oh, I'm getting older. or not listening to little aches or pains I was having, or the fact that I was having more infections in my body. And this is over years period of time, even having random dental issues come up and root canals and other things like that. Interestingly enough, these were all things that my body was calling me for. But I thought I felt greater than I ever had, and to some extent I had. So today I just want to go over some of the typical reasons that we avoid listening to the call when our health calls. And when any health matter calls, that can be mental health, that can be spiritual health, that can be physical health. There's a lot of times where our bodies are telling us things, but we're not listening. And so what happened was last year, I took a small fall. It's been about 18 months now in a parking lot. Didn't think much of it, but my foot swelled up over the weekend, and sure enough, getting to the doctor, finding out that I had a small fracture in one of the bones of my foot. Okay, we sort of started embarking on embracing that. I just chalked it up to being clumsy, didn't think anything about it, attended to healing my foot. But what that was really a signal and starting down a road that I didn't realize. So again, it was a call and I didn't pursue it. I just thought, okay, heal the foot, everything would be fine. And in my case, what that was a signal for is that something's wrong in your body, going wrong with your health. And if you fast forward most of last year, most of 2024, it was a series of discoveries, would be the best way, from one doctor to the next, to the next, to the next, to figuring out what really was going on because I was not healing. Yes, my small foot bone was healing, but I was not able to walk without, once my boot was off from the healing of that foot, which was way too long, I wasn't able to recover on the walking as I should. And that was yet another sign. And if you fast forward all the way to December, I found myself urgently being hospitalized, a massive infection in my foot, them not knowing if I'm going to make it or not in the hospital because I had sepsis. And all of this was an outcome, whether it's situational or not, of diabetes. And I never, by any of these professionals, was steered that direction until I got into the hospital. So I think it's really important to share this because when you have an underlying cause of something in your health and you don't discover it, things can get worse. And in my case, 5% of people with diabetes also have a condition that ended up that I have, which is a form of neuropathy. It's a diabetic enteropathy, and it takes away my ability to walk efficiently. Today, I cannot walk without a walker. Today, I can only adjust my movements by being completely planted in place. And I went from being able to run this half marathon, picking up a 5K, running to the gym, to now relegated because of the nerve damage that took place. And I have severe nerve damage that's taking away my ability to walk. Now, whether or not those nerves will regenerate, whether or not I will be able to get back to normal walking is completely now, a question that's just going to need to be discovered. And it's the transformation from going from being very able bodied to being disabled in any aspect of one's life that I want to spend a little time here on this show as a guest host this morning on this show for Sue Costick, because it's important information that people know. And I put together a small list of the reasons that things can be happening in our bodies and with us, but we don't pay the attention to them we should. The first is wanting things to be familiar. It is with everyone, even myself, who I run a business on reinventing and know how to do this, are faced at times with different pieces of our lives that are not as familiar as we want them to be. And therefore, when you go away from the familiar, it isn't something that's comfortable. So for me, embracing in this journey, I am thrilled that I know exactly how to do this, because I spend my days all day long with coaching individuals and coaching businesses on how to move away from the familiar but into the more favorable. And even with the condition I have right now, the learnings and the teachings that it has given me have been remarkable. So I wouldn't want this journey to be any other way. I want to regain the ability to walk, and I visualize that my nerves will regenerate and I can. But there are so many beautiful pieces that have come from this. So I would share with people that don't be as afraid, and this is what I coach people on, of just staying with the familiar when there likely is a more favorable out there. The second piece that really keeps people from wanting to, again, whether it's embracing their health, whether it's answering the call, whether it's, seeing your doctor, whether it's not knowing what one's going to hear. And so the choice is, well, then don't listen to it or don't even bark on it, is this fear that takes over. And fortunately, through my work, I have been able to overcome much of this fear. But that does not mean that there hasn't been times during this journey that fear has been there. And fear is a number one cause for so many people in not wanting to answer that call. So I would share with you is that instead of being afraid of the fear, actually embrace the fear and know that it's just a message. It's just a sign that something may be going on with you that you may not recognize, and it's worth exploring. The third thing that really is difficult for people is to visualize themselves being a little different than who they are now. And this holds true with anything one may want to change in life, whether it's a health related issue, or whether it's a calling of some kind, or whether it's exploring a new career, whether it's exploring a new friendship, a new relationship, whatever that may be, it may require a different version of oneself than they have ever been before. And so, again, it keeps one stuck in place rather than embracing whatever the hurdles are that are there so that it can lead you to a place that you can have more learnings from and start healing processes for yourself that you may not even know that you need to. And the last piece that really is important when the signal calls, when the call comes, whether that's again something with your physical health, mental health, spiritual health, and knowing that it may require an elevated version of oneself or a different part of oneself that needs to come forward, is having the belief in yourself that you can do it. And I think the lack of this belief, because people get so complacent in life and they start going through life just as a pattern, whether it be the same old with one's job or relationship or friendship or any kind of situation you can think of yourself in. There's really a complacency. When we're really being honest and digging down deep, a complacency with people that can set in. And it is this complacency, this being stuck, this just being in this routine of, I've always done it this way, so I'm going to continue to do it this way, that takes from or takes away from one being able to become a greater version of themselves. And this piece of everything I've talked about is, I think, the most important because it requires, and my coaching actually works on this with all of my clients, it requires us to see things and visualize things in a bigger way than we ever have. And so, even if something is plaguing you in life, this problem, that problem, this, it's the knowing that you can evolve. That actually the most natural thing in life is to grow, is to evolve, and is to be able to take any kind of adversity that you may be having and facing, and knowing that that adversity is actually there, just as the name of Sue Caustic's show is all about, becoming a better version of yourself and answering that call. And so when one feels stuck and when one feels the call, if you can visualize yourself in a much more elevated way, in a way that helps you to see that more is important. Oh, I have my little friend here. If more is important in life, that you can be able to take what you know that you know that it's incredible when you have the ability to have that flexibility and have that mobility in your life. So this part of what I've gone through, and I've gone through horrific pain along the way, excruciating pain, times I didn't even know I could make it. But what I love about what I've been through is it pointed out, yes, there's even a bigger version ahead. And I am there to help more people because when we elevate, when we fire ourselves up, and become that better version of ourselves, what happens? We're able to have a greater impact on other people. And that's really what this show is all about. That is what Sue's business is all about. Taking a new approach, a different approach to one's health, rather than just the traditional approach of traditional medicine and pharmaceuticals, and looking at things from a holistic standpoint and other ways that that can help one to recover. In that same way, we are all about bettering ourselves so that we can have a greater impact on other people. And that's what I am so passionate about with Sue's show, with what she does, the partnership that she and I have, the upcoming, we have an incredible program for the remainder of 2025. Can't believe we're almost halfway through, starting on July 1st, for a very limited amount of clients that want to go through not just bettering their health, but what does it take? The behind the scenes that it takes of one's mindset to do that. So I love partnering with her in this journey. And the biggest piece of it that I love is that as we better ourselves, we are able to have a greater impact on others. So even with my little doggy here today, it shows that whatever happens in life, this is real life. And what we do in our real life, and the faster we answer that call, and the faster we employ the resources we need to better ourselves and know that we can become better versions and we can have that belief in ourselves. It's an incredible transformation that I wish on every single one of you that are listening, every single one of you that are watching this show this morning. It's been my pleasure, my honor to be the guest host on Sue's show today. She will be back next week after her travels to hosting Hello, Your Health is Calling, and we have big things combined with this. So I bear you a great week. I bear you wishes that you embrace and you take in what's calling, what's happening, and being really real with yourself in the willingness to take a look at your life and the messages and the calls you are getting. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Hello, Your Health is Calling with Sue Kostick. Remember, your health journey is ongoing, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions, insights, or stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on social media or call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A. Together, we're transforming lives and embracing holistic well-being. Until next time, prioritize your health and remember, your health is calling.